First from Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, Mayor Harrisburg making
Let's
his
go,
first
baby!
TV appearance. It's Jim Tomek Jr. He leads the PBA World Rankings, but still seeks that elusive first career title from Lockport, New York, near Buffalo. Brad Angelo. He finished second at the PBA season opener in Omaha, Nebraska. Today looking for his first ever title from Erie, Pennsylvania, Machuga. From Bolingbrook, Illinois, near Chicago this weekend, he became the 28th bowler in PBA history to go over $1 million in career earnings. It is Steve Jaros. His fourth career title in 1994 PBA National Championship.
Hi, Barb. Welcome, Barb.
For the first time this season from Bowl Valley, Illinois, David Traber. March to the PBA World Championship takes another critical step today here in Dallas, Texas. The Metroplex. It's the Days Inn Open. 4 of 5 finalists trying to win their first title of this season. 3 have never won on tour. Dave Ryan and Randy Peterson. Randy, let's look at the matchups.
In the wildcard match, Jim Tomek Jr. takes on top-ranked Brad Angelo in a rematch of last night's round of 8 match won by Angelo. Semifinal number 1 pits Mike Machuga in search of his first title and Steve Jaros, who's won his 4th title this season in Toledo. In semifinal number 2, my roommate, David Traber, looking for his first title since Valentine's Day 1998, waits for the wildcard winner.
First PBA shot coming up for Jim Tomek Jr. Randy, you remember your first TV appearance. What kind of things going through his mind?
Long ago.
It was a while back. A little sweat on the brow. First ever ball on TV, Jim Tomek. 10
Last night, Jim Tomek told us that this is like a dream come true for him. He used to watch us guys on television, and now we're his friends. He says it's just a dream come true for him. Big day for Jim Tomek. And a real interesting, cool spare ball.
Yeah, I like that.
Look at the football in the middle of it.
Whichever ball is in the middle of the spare ball works out well for Tomek Jr. He's got his mark on his first ever TV frame. And now Brad Angelo getting used to seeing Brad, the PBA points leader. He's ahead of Pete Weber in that category. And with a win today, maybe a win at the World Championship. He's got a good shot at Player of the Year honors as well. 10 pin late to go down for Brad Angelo. Bids for his first ever title. 4th show of the year for him, leading up to the Baby Ruth real deal matchup.
Getting higher in average, but here's the big ticket right here. Strike percentage, 12 percentage points higher. Brad Angelo knows how to strike. Unfortunately, in TV appearances, not doing enough striking. Look what his opponents have done. 40 pins a game higher against him on TV. But 3 shows in the last 6 tournaments for Brad Angelo.
Lane 15. Perfect for Angelo. We want to apologize at the beginning of our broadcast, folks. We had some technical issues. We're working as hard as we can to repair those for the rest of this broadcast from Dallas today.
Brad playing the deep inside line. That ball is deep in the 1-3 pocket.
Brad telling us last night, last thing he wanted to do was bowl in this wild card match as a semifinalist, but it's a rematch of the round of 8 from last night. Tomek was the loser then, but he is the wild card. Comes in, almost a Brooklyn strike, crossing way over there. And the 6 and 9 remain up for Jim Tomek Jr.
Right through the schnoz, almost going Brooklyn. Leaving the 6-8. We talk about it time and time again. First timers on television. It's a whole new world.
Told us last night, in awe. And takes care of it nicely. That's a relief, Jim, isn't it? 6'9" goes down as he covers and gets his mark.
Well, he basically chops this. Watch, 6-pin comes back out.
Oh.
And avoids a disastrous open frame early on.
Wow, back wall of the deck, there it comes. Sometimes better lucky than good, right? That is a huge break. Coming to us from Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, near the state capital of Harrisburg. That will go high, too. Late trip on the forward, down it goes. 28 years old is Jim Tomek Jr. He got by Robert Smith, who won last week in Tucson easily. Smith's second title of this season, then lost to Angelo, so now the rematch here in the wild card. That was last night. And because he had the best qualifying numbers for the round of 8 losers, that's why he is the wild card today. Trey Williams Jr. had a good appearance as well, making the round of 8, as did Lonnie Walchik. Good week for him. Looked right in the pocket.
And it was. 6-pin goes right around the 10. Brad Angelo, unique approach. He has that little hesitation right before his second step. Beautiful hand position at the bottom of the swing. Has a very unique role out on tour. A little more of a spin to it. And it's been very, very effective his last few years out here. Rookie of the year last year, and you know what he's done this year.
4th TV appearance for him. He's had an excellent middle and end of this season. There's the match win record for him. Jim Tomek Jr. rematching here, got by Jason Hurt as well in the round of 16. He's marched all the way to the TV show again. Told us last night he knows mentally what it's going to take to make that last step up the ladder and finally win a title.
Yeah, and the bottom line is experience is the key for him.
Through the nose, that came in high though. 3-6-10 remain.
Said last night it was a big advantage bowling Jim Tomek Jr. because of the fact that it's Jimmy's first time on television. He felt that would be an advantage to him, and I have to agree. However, you never know how an individual is going to handle pressure. You just never know.
We'll see how Brad Angelo adjusts. He came very close. PBA Reno Open a few weeks ago, made the finals and lost to Mika Koivuniemi. Mika won his second title of the season. Robert Smith won his second championship of the year last week.
Just like we were talking about, the reason why it's an advantage, look what the first-timers have averaged on television. The only player to actually win a match, Chris Johnson.
And CJ has had a good rookie season all the way to the finals in Toledo. I think he smashed a bug there. Is that what he...
All the evolutionists. I mean the animal rights.
Yeah, he didn't get it yet, though.
Yeah.
He didn't take it.
He missed his mark.
Are there bug rights activists?
Something out on the approach, some type of flying critter.
Who said bowling isn't a contact sport?
Yeah, looks like he's practicing for the high jump.
Pretty good ups there. Looked a little bit light, and that switched on. He's got the 2-pin up.
Light, high on that lane, trying to get dialed in.
There's the bug that Brad Angelo tried to squash without any success. That was a 2-footed leap from Brad, and he still didn't get it.
It's coming back for more. That's a tough bug. They have tough bugs here, kids. Don't miss around,
boy.
Good shot over here, Phil. Come on.
Nice cover with that wacky spare ball.
Just a plastic bowling ball with a football core inside.
Well, we're only about 5 miles from Texas Stadium where the Cowboys play in Irving, so that's pretty appropriate. You can see it really from the freeway as soon as you hop on from where we are here in the Metroplex area. 8-pin as he comes in light again.
If Jim's going to be that firm, he's got to square it up just a pinch. Otherwise, he's got to use the same line and get a little bit softer so this ball has a chance to turn the corner.
With the unusual looking spare ball, takes care of the mark there. Angelo 9-pin lead. Things still very close, almost halfway through the wild card match, each bidding for his first ever title. Tomek making the TV debut today. Gotta wonder if the recent experiences of Angelo will help him. Fourth show of the year. Oh, very solid 9.
Watch the bowling ball. It's going to go right by the 9-pin right there. Ball is dead flush perfect. All that friction being created, and as strong as these bowling balls are these days, they don't deflect near as much as they used to, say, 5-10 years ago. Almost to the point now where we need heavier pins.
Brad Angelo got his first ever TV win in Reno, then lost in the finals to Mika Koivuniemen. He told us last night that he really stopped thinking and making his moves, his proper moves, his adjustments on the TV pair in that matchup with Mika. So he just chalks it up to experience. Maybe as things go on, he can make that next step and win a title.
Yeah, he said he really lost focus, and that's basically what it comes down to. Experience on television is priceless.
His first ever TV match was against Mike Machuga, who was on our show today. That was in Omaha, and he lost that one.
Talked about the release of Brad Angelo, how he has a little bit more of a spinning type roll. Watch the hand rotate around the side. Look at that thing rotating like that. And watch this. Another big-time ring and 10-pin.
Great look from our crew. On the revs there from Brad Angelo, who tries to win his first ever title. We'll break down the oil pattern when we return to Dallas. We'll talk about first-time winners and Randy's first ever championship way back in '86. The wild card match rolls on from Big D, Dallas, Texas. Who will win the match? Can advance on, we find out. ESPN's exclusive live coverage of the PBA Days Inn Open is brought to you by Uniroyal, the official tire of the PBA Tour. Uniroyal tire is trusted by American families since 1892. By Days Inn, the best value under the sun. And by Miller High Life, live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. Transfer carriage ride downtown Dallas, Texas. Beautiful day outside, great day inside. Kings of the Lanes are here at the Days Inn Open in Big D. We welcome you to Texas. Dave Ryan, Randy Pearson, our entire crew. You know about winning your first ever title. You did that back in California, Randy, in 1986. Chance of PBA history, folks, today for us. 3 bowlers could win their first ever title. You know the makeup of these guys, particularly your roommate, Dave Traber. Can one break through with a win today?
Well, I think they can. We have 3 players that have never won before, Mike Machuga. You know, I think Mike Machuga is one of the guys you have to look for today. The one good news is that you don't have to go through the Goliaths of a Walter Ray Williams Jr. or Pete Weber. So I think there's a great chance today for a first-time winner.
Oil Pattern C. Who can benefit from this today? A TV show here in Dallas.
No bumpers like we had last week from the outside part of the lane. We had strips, and what that means is it allowed players to play multiple angles. Dave Traber straight and hard from out. Steve Jaros playing a little bit to the inside, and you see the big boomer playing that deep inside line, Brad Angelo. Pattern's much better this year. Pattern C, 13 pins a game, higher than it was last year.
Back to the wild card match here in Dallas. Speaking of history, can Tomek Jr. make it by winning his first ever TV match in his first ever TV show? He's feeling the pressure. Told us last night he was in complete awe of the moment. Did not appear too awestruck, Randy, there with a nice shot.
Starting to feel it, getting his feet underneath him. This ball's perfect. 6-pin goes to the sidewall. And nice reaction. He says, all right, let's get in this now. The strike here, Jim Tomek can take the lead.
On 15, right there. All 10 down in the pit as he shears the rack. Angelo, as we've mentioned, is the points leader right now. And interesting point, too. Can he be the player of the year? It's possible with a win here today. Maybe another couple victories down the stretch. Walter Williams Jr. did make the round of 8 last night. On the line today, 25,000 critical points, and a couple of our bowlers really need them. Jim Tomek Jr. is one of them, as is, of course, David Traber. He tries to make his way up the list. This is a difficult split.
He's only missed the pocket one time. That was in the 4th frame. This one cuts right through the heart, leaving the 410. Brad needs to get the ball to the left side of the 4, drive it over into the 10 pin.
Yikes, whiffs on both. Well wide left of the 4 pin in hopes of kicking it across the deck to the 10, and loses in count. Suddenly, Tomek Jr. is up 17 pins just like that.
Good time for a commercial break for Jim Tomek to get his nerves in check. Bad news for Brad Angelo. Comes out of the commercial break throwing a split. We see it time and time again. Brad Angelo right now needs to get on a strike horse.
8th frame, critical time. That's the way to do it.
Looks like he moved further left, got the ball further right. That ball's perfect. He knows he still has chance. He can strike out for 220. Right now, 2 of the biggest shots of Jim Tomek's career coming up in the 8th and 9th frame.
Max numbers. Eighth frame.
Huge.
Don't forget to visit PBA.com. Enter Jackson Hewitt, Strike It Rich, and live tax-free for a year. Sweepstakes, that sounds pretty good. One lucky winner will have a chance to roll 3 strikes for $50,000 at the PBA World Championship. And runner will have their tax burden for the 2003 year paid by Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. For more, be sure to log on to PBA.com. Including great seats available for the season-ending World Championship, Eastern Michigan University campus, Ypsilanti. So everyone in that area, Detroit, greater Detroit area, get ready, log on, sign up. You might see this guy, Jim Tomek Jr., with another huge strike.
Wow, all I can say is wow. He steps up like a TV veteran.
Yeah, come on.
And threw 2 big, huge shots in the 8th and 9th frame. Now, Brad Angelo strikes out 9th and 10th. He forces Jim Tomek Jr. to mark.
Foundation frame ball, 10 pin up for Angelo. And he's on the verge of being done.
Well, he is done, and this is his undoing. Too many of these right here. Too many solid 10s.
Well, folks, amazing storyline developing here. First ever TV appearance for Jim Tomek Jr. will be successful. Steve Jaros, who's won on tour this year, that was in Toledo, so he's exempt. Mike Machuga's had a good year and makes his 2nd tour stop. We'll see that on TV from Machuga. We'll see that coming up, first semifinal. In the pocket there.
Well, unfortunately, too little, too late for Brad Angelo. Even if he strikes out, he's only going to shoot 200. Jim Tomek Jr. needs to stay behind the foul line and keep the ball on the lane, and he will advance.
Oh.
Wow.
It's been that kind of day for Brad. Those late opens can just kill you, and that's what happened in the 7th frame. With an 8-pin count, a lead turned into a big deficit. Young Jim Tomek, 3rd year on the PBA Tour, 28 years old, from near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, has got himself a win if he just keeps the ball in the lane here.
Just a heavy dose of solid 9-pin and 4 ringing 10s.
Keep in mind that Brad Angelo has clinched a spot on the exempt tour next year, despite the fact he has not won yet. He's first in points. And there it is, Richie Allen, 0-2 at this event. The last time it happened, winning their first ever TV appearance and taking a match. And that's going to happen here today with Jim Tomek Jr. Certainly will be the first ever meeting since it's his first TV appearance against Dave Traber. That is coming up. Also the first TV matchup between Jaros and Machuga forthcoming. Oh, it's a privilege for us to be part of PBA history, Randy. A chance to see Jim's first ever TV win. At the same time, makes his debut on television. It's not easy. What did he say about being in awe of the whole process last night? He seemed a little bit unsure of himself, maybe nervous, but he was going to get a lot of advice from fellow bowlers like Brad Angelo, and it worked out.
Got some advice from his girlfriend, Kelly Kulick, former U.S. Open women's champion. Obviously helped.
So he's off to the semis. Nerves forgetting for Jim Tomek Jr. He's through to the next round. Mike Machuga, for the first time in his career, is going to try to shake his way through Steve Jaros, who's won on tour once this year. Semis coming up next from Big D.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bowling himself, Don Carter.
Born Donald James Carter in St. Louis, Missouri in 1926. Don Carter's been recognized since the very beginnings of the PBA as one of the greatest bowlers of all time. After serving in the Navy during World War II and playing a year of minor league baseball, Don Carter would return to St. Louis and dedicate his life to the sport he loves so much. He'd be named Bowler of the Year 6 times. He won the BPA All-Star Tournament 4 times and was the very first player to win the PBA Grand Slam. Incredible career for the great Don Carter.
4 strikes in a row.
What an amazing career for Don Carter, the 6-time Bowler of the Year. In 1970, was one of the all-time #1 bowler and a Hall of Famer as well. Trying to make some history himself as Mike Machuga trying to win his first career title today. You were saying to us last night, Mike, first half of the season not making match play other than Omaha where you made the show, but in the second half you've done so well. Why more consistency in the second swing, do you think?
I really think that I'm as sharp as I've ever been, and really getting some lucky breaks, and that's about it. I really haven't done anything different.
Is Mike Machuga ready to win a tournament today?
Absolutely.
Confident, ready. More history on the line. We'll see what happens. He's ready.
Should be confident. He's been bowling great the second half. He's only not made match play in one event. That was at the U.S. Open. If he's as lucky to have half the career as the great Don Carter, that would be a great career. Don, friend of mine, lives nearby in South Florida, and just one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Just a true gentleman.
Oh my! 7-10 for Michael.
I've talked about the pocket 7-10 before being the worst break for a bowler because this is just a fraction from being a strike. It's perfectly thrown. It should strike, but at least you should get 9. Now you can't even make the spare. Although we did see Brian Voss at the U.S. Open make it, but only 3 times has it been made on television.
Happen much. 7 up early open, but early opens, you can recover from those. As Brad Angelo found out, late open frames can be highly detrimental to your hopes to advance.
Right you are.
Steve Jaros. Slow ball speed, more deliberate bowler. He is a finesse type player. And an 8-pin.
Well, we saw a bad carry for Brad Angelo. Then we see Mike Machuga leave a blowout 7-10. And Steve Jaros follows it up with a solid 8. Let's cut that out right now, pal.
Some hook on a spare ball there for Jaros. And he takes care of the mark, leading us to the David Real Deal matchup.
And a real deal right here. 7 pins a game, higher average for Steve Jaros. Obviously a higher strike percentage. An incredible match last night against Walter Ray Williams Jr. And he won on this pattern in Toledo. But last night, his match against Walter Ray Williams Jr., sick numbers. There you go. We're talking numbers 267, 258, 258, 235, 236, 259. He did this against the greatest player on the planet.
Walter Ray just 2 wins shy of tying the late great Earl Anthony's record, trying to get that done this season. Appeared he would be on the show until he ran into Steve Jaros. Round of 8 last night. 11-pin hole for Machuga early. Can he bounce back? That's the way you do it.
Wow. 6-pin just went to the sidewall and demolished the 10. That ball looked like when it hit the pins, it weighed about 30 pounds, and his first shot, the pocket 7-10, looked like it weighed 13. Mike Machuga, he had a nice little run in match play as well. He took care of Chris Johnson in 4 and then bowled defending champion Chris Barnes and took him out in 4 games.
Wow. Crossing way over, hoping for a real break. You heard his reaction for a Brooklyn strike, but will not get that. 3-10 instead for him. We're coming to you from Don Carter's All-Star Lanes West in Dallas. Days Inn Open. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, our entire crew. Live coverage of the PBA here on ESPN. Glad you could join us. Another exciting tour stop as our march to the World Championship in Michigan continues. Machuga trying to win his first title. Chops the 3 and the 10 up. Another open frame. Wow.
Going to a ball change, but watch this. He knew it. As soon as it left his hand, this one had no chance.
And now Jaros looks for a double here, Ren. Excuse me, chance for a 33-pin lead. That's high. 3-6-10.
Well, that was the last thing I thought Steve Jaros would do, would be to go high. After talking with him last night, I've never seen or heard Steve Jaros that relaxed. Unfortunately, that shot left of target.
He does cover nicely, though. 3-6-10. Next Sunday, ESPN follows the PBA Tour. Greater St. Louis area for the Baby Ruth Real Deal Classic. 12:30 Eastern Time is our start time. Again here on ESPN, 9:30 a.m. on the West Coast. For more, log on ESPN.com. We are headed just outside St. Louis in Illinois for our PBA stop next week. Jaros shreds the rack. And has struck in 2 of his 4 frames, now up 23 pins on the struggling Mike Machuga.
Well, Mikey's only thrown the 1 bad shot. Well, as we have a re-rack, let me show you the change that Steve Jaros has made in his game. 2 years ago, check out the follow-through. Right here, how it goes up and over his shoulder. Now watch the change here. See that? What he's done is he's taken that up hit out of his release, trying to get the ball to land more like an airplane landing on a runway.
Change in good results. Machuga making his adjustments. We saw him grab the new equipment after the 2 opens to begin the match at 2 of the 3 frames. Ball change for him, and he strikes in the 4th. To get here, we talked about some pretty big names, just got blanked. Both Dallas area residents, Chris Johnson and Chris Barnes. Barnes, a defending champion here, who won as a wild card. From the semi spot, Machuga tries to win this year. Rare to see the 5-pin up at this level.
Well, it was in the light spot where you normally leave a 2-4-5 or a bucket. It only leaves the 2-5. He made the ball change, which now forces him to go straighter, and basically it's an educated guess as to where he should stand and look on the lane. Not in the right spot yet on the left lane.
Trying to relax, does cover there, but opens in the 1st and 3rd frames. They really do him in, we'll see. Jaros, his march to the TV show here, 12-2, 12-7 match play record. 224.62 average for Jaros to get this far. And strikes there for a 33-pin lead. Steve has had his wife June, the twins Evan and Hannah, who are 4.5 years old, travel at times this year. They were there in Toledo when he won, and they're back out with him now.
Every time June and the kids come out, he makes the show.
Seems to work out pretty well. He has got a very long drive with the kids and June, 15 hours back to Chicagoland after the show today. But he says, hey, we got the DVD player, so we'll be okay with the kids' movies. Right now, he's focused on beating Mike Machuga in the semis and making the finals, bidding for a second tour title of the season.
Your favorite player, we want to hear it. Come on.
Lots of youngsters here from local high school bowling programs. We mentioned June Jaros is here as well. The twins are being taken care of by the PBA family. Speaking of the PBA family, we've got some new additions. Dave Schroeder's wife, Madge, welcoming in Austin Kenneth this week. Ray Jacobs, our associate director, his wife, Meredith. A bright and beautiful welcome to little Sarah Ray and Leslie Goodell, who's been our sideline lane level reporter over the last couple of years. She and her husband, Jamie, welcome Kendall Jacqueline to the ESPN and PBA family. Big congratulations to all those families who I'm sure are watching right now. The waiting is over, and now the work begins, right?
And now the work begins, and I have to say congratulations to our folks and friends that you'd mentioned. Congrats. It only gets better from here.
Back to Machuga. In the pocket. His best shot of the day. Still with a strike. After the turkey ball, he wants a re-rack here. Sixth frame for Jaros. 43-pin deficit.
Second and last re-rack. You're only allowed 2 by PBA rules. If he were to mistakenly take a re-rack in competition, his third, he would get 0 for the frame.
A perfect shot. 0 for any frame is far more than he can accept right now. Have to be careful of that. Leading us to the Days Inn on the road. Baby Ruth Real Deal Classic, Bel Air Bowl, Belleville, Illinois, near St. Louis. Be sure, folks, in that area where the qualifying matches going on, different locations, all leading to PBA World Championship in Ypsilanti. Great tickets are available. That ball is high through the nose from Jaros. Log on to PBA.com. Great arena seats available at the EMU campus for the World Championship in March.
And with a strike there, Steve Jaros could have put a whole bunch of pressure on Mike Machuga. Right now, Mike Machuga still in this match.
Goes up 31 pins, ends the 3 straight strikes with the mark. Other bowlers all the way to the final 8. The round of 32. Best of 7 match play to get this far, including DJ Archer. A lot of locals, DJ Archer included. Chris Barnes from near Dallas. Chris Johnson also from Garland, Texas, very close to where we are.
Richie Allen, who won his first title here. Hey, look at that. Look at that guy.
Named Randy Peterson.
Mike Machuga going at a 227, or excuse me, 227 max. Jaros only 218 pace. It's going to come down to the 9th and 10th frame again, Dave Ryan.
The ball change, Randy, and overcoming the emotions from Machuga. He is absolutely locked in now. Here's a look from lane level.
And when you go straighter up the lane, you want to keep your hand up the back of the ball so the change of direction down the lane isn't as violent. That's exactly what Mike Machuga is doing.
Max numbers for each, lower left of your screen. Foundation frame time, bidding for a 4-bagger is Machuga.
Mike. Get lucky! Yeah!
Wow!
And that he did.
Oh, Mike. Oh, boy.
Didn't like the ball at all.
Didn't think it was going to get back to the pocket. He got a little wide, grabbed the lane, and got back for a wally. Steve Jaros,
down 11 right now, Randy.
Steve Jaros in control of his own destiny right here.
First ever head-to-head on TV since Jim Tomek Jr. has never been on TV before today with Dave Traber. Second semifinal is coming up. Traber has gone 111 events without a tournament title. So we mentioned history. We had a chance for 3 to win their first ever title. Now it's down to 2 with Angelo out. He didn't like it. High. Oh, good count though. Just the 10 up.
Throw that one a little quick.
We have the possibility of a tie. With a spare here and a strike on his fill, as you see his ball going very high, Mike Machuga can strike out to shoot 227. Steve Jaros, spare strike, 227.
Jaros has made adjustments all week, he told us. Drilled 3 different balls to improve his layout. Had a very poor start in qualifying. Continuing to make adjustments here late in this match. There's a pressure. Sets in on Machuga.
Ooh, big 3 strikes in the 10th frame for Mike Machuga. He's a winner. And Mike Machuga is dialed in on the right lane. It's just a matter of whether or not he can execute the shot. Plain and simple. Get it off your hand the right way. Get it to the 1-3 pocket.
What did he tell us, Randy, in the interview? He's had better luck. He's been in better situations. Second half of the year, the only non-match play time for him, the U.S. Open. That's been it in the second half. He's been locked in. Can he continue now? There's one.
And I think situations like this could be the turning point for a professional career. When you step up to the plate in a big-time situation and you come through, it does wonders for your confidence. And that's exactly the situation for Mike Machuga. 2 more strikes, he advances to the title.
Trying to move his TV record of 4-3 career. He's 0-2 in title matches. 2 more strikes gives him another crack at a championship matchup.
Thank you.
Steve Jaros is your winner. Mike Machuga just kind of spun his hand around the side just enough to get the ball to push too far down the lane. The result was a weak 10. Watch this, right at the bottom, just gets around it, just a pinch. Ball doesn't have enough drive to get the 6 to go to the wall to carry the 10.
Good luck, Steve.
Great match, fun to watch. 226, 216. It is over. That means Steve Jaros has got a great crack at his 2nd tour title of the year. Who will he bowl is the question. We'll find out. Much more on the way from Dallas. ESPN's exclusive live coverage of the PBA Days Inn Open is brought to you by Bayer Aspirin. Take it for pain, take it for life. By the official candy bar of the PBA, Baby Ruth from Nestle, the real deal. And by Miller High Life, to live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. There is the beautiful, sparkling American Airlines Center. Coming up on ESPN at 4 o'clock Eastern, the Dallas Stars take on the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. Dave Clement, Gary Thorne standing by to call that for you here on ESPN. We're welcoming you back to Dallas. Last year's champion Chris Barnes here calls Dallas home. He talks about his emotional win in this week's Miller milestone.
Win in Dallas was probably one of the highlights of my professional career. Not very often you get to be at home in front of all your friends and your family. We got up on that Sunday morning, made a little bit of breakfast, had 4 other people staying at the house. Something real quick, jumped up, got to the bowl. It's about a 25-minute drive. The very first match I bowled Pete Weber, and it's actually the first time I'd ever been the wild card on a TV show. And at the end of that game, I needed a mark in the 10th frame, and I went light, and I managed to escape with a 2-pin. That's something I could make, and I was able to advance in the ugly match. And that was kind of when the light went on. I went, you know what? I mean, that's the match that really, if you're going to put shoulds and supposed to's on, I was supposed to lose that match. And I just felt like, you know, everything was kind of shifted my way, and if I could just focus and stay at the task at hand, that things would work out okay.
What a moment for Barnes. Takes the title today in Texas.
Linda's pretty supportive. I mean, she works everything around. She brought the boys She had a feeling it was going to be a special day, and it was a lot of fun for me to have her there and to be able to share that moment with some people that I'm closest to. Probably within 2.5 hours after the show, I was taking a nap on the couch with my son. So it didn't last long, but I got to share it in a lot different way than I ever had before.
Chris Barnes, subject to the Miller High Life milestones. Chris Barnes right now, 7th place in the march to the PBA World Championship. Ypsilanti, Michigan, trying to make that round of Super 16, which is so important. Not officially have a win on tour this year for exempt status, but a great year getting into exempt for next season. Coming up though, here in Dallas, we look forward to Dave Traber. First TV appearance for him this year. His best been so far has been the Cambridge Credit Classic. Trying to change all that against Tomek Jr. Make his TV debut this afternoon.
3 strikes in the 10th frame for Dave Traber. Anything less, Norm Duke is going back to the Tournament of Champions.
Does he have another one? Yes!
Right there! That's what we're talking about. By PBA rule, all tie games must be broken by 1-ball sudden death roll-off.
Oh! Now a strike wins it for Norm Duke. One of the most exciting moments in bowling, the sudden death roll-off won last year on Long Island by Norm Duke over Dave Traber. He's drawn 111 events without a tour title. Go back to Valentine's Day of '98 in Peoria, Illinois. That's been a long time. Randy Peterson with his roommate on the road, Dave Traber.
Dave, last week after not cashing on your favorite pattern in Tucson, I mean, let's face it, you're an emotional wreck. We talked about preparation for tour trials in the summer, but you're 2 match wins away now from securing a spot in the all-exempt roster. How do you feel now?
Well, I'm glad I'm here, and it's 2 games, and that's what I want to do. I want to get it done right now so I don't have to worry the next 3 weeks. I know it came down to the end, but I want to get it done and over with right now.
Good luck, partner.
Thanks.
Dave Traber looking for title number 5, Dave Ryan.
Who is exempt so far this year? Patrick Haley Jr., Walter A. Williams Jr., Robert Smith, Pete Weber have all won 2 titles. And those are the 2-year exemptions because of their wins in majors. Pete, 3 years thanks to his victory a couple weeks back in Anaheim at the U.S. Open. And there are 7 more who have clinched, including Brad Angelo and Chris Barnes. We talked about those 2 not winning a tour title. Barnes has Japan Cup win, but that does not account for exempt status. So due to all those points, those are top players who have already clinched. Many more to follow in the next few weeks. How does Jim Tomek get there? He's got to win a couple of matches, starting with Dave Traber.
Jim Tomek, not known for going real straight, but he's got his hand up the back, throwing it pretty hard, and only playing a little bit of that in-out shot. I think it's great strategy on his part. There's one thing for certain. When Dave Traber's on the show, he's going to be throwing the high, hard one.
A lot of heat. 7-pin stays up, goes right at that pocket without the big hook. Walter Ray Williams Jr. went down 248, 229 back in '98. Peoria Open, Peoria, Illinois. Last title for Traber. It's been a long time coming. Watch out. Takes care of the 7, leading us to maybe a real deal matchup.
Big time average advantage here for Dave Traber. 6 pins a game higher. All or nothing week. 239 average and wins. 30 pins less when he lost.
Oh. Asking for a hole, will not get it, right through the nose. Number 4, 6, 10, still up for Dave Traber.
The one thing I noticed in practice was it looked like Dave had a little bit of hang down the lane. And when that happens, that forces players like himself to try to point the ball a little bit more in the pocket. If you don't have hold, it's going to be tough.
Continues to not convert on a split.
Dave Traber does this every week on tour when he makes match play. He takes a ball, he sandblasts it with sandpaper and he burns up a friction spot to the right part of the lane. He uses that to throw to.
Great look by our crew. You could actually see the friction taking out some oil on that first angle off the right hand of Dave Traber. Because he wants to pave his way to the pocket. We'll see if it works. Jim Tomek Jr.'s got other ideas. A double to start for him and a 34-pin lead with a strike coming up here.
Right, and right now Jim Tomek Jr. is all up in Dave Traber's grill saying, you don't want none of this.
Some of that, as I believe what you're referring to, Randy. Big shot again from Tomek Jr.
Not a very friendly welcome for roommate Dave. Jim Tomek perfect through 3. Dave Traber 9 spare in the first. Big open frame in the second.
You know Dave very well. As the road roommate with Dave Traber, it's almost difficult to put into words how stressed out he's been, as are you, about the exempt status next year. I mean, this was critical to make the show this week with just 4 events down the stretch to go here, including the World Championship. It's now or never.
Well, needless to say, unfortunately, it's been a quiet room the last month and a half. Coming into this week, Dave Traber is 65th. He knew that he needed 3 or 4 big weeks in a row to get there. Right now, what he needs is a strike on this left lane.
He's 47th on the tour now, Randy. Let's push at least that. Little high flush there. But to get here, some big names went down, including Lonnie Walchek last night here in Dallas in the round of 8. Parker Bone III, the legend himself, is struggling to get to exempt status. And Patrick Allen has won once this year in Philadelphia. There's the cut line, which has been changed a bit because of Norm Duke's situation.
Norm Duke won in Kansas City to earn his exempt spot, currently 67th on the point list. So now the cut number goes down to 49. Look out! Wow! When you're Jim Tomek Jr., you like seeing that. When you're Dave Traber, you don't want to see none of that. This ball goes high, leaving the 4-pin. The reverse messenger.
Any direction he can get it, he'll take it, I'm sure. So a big break in his first TV day.
You talk about the pressures of Dave Traber trying to get in the all-exempt field. Jim Tomek Jr. is in the same exact boat.
Looks for the front 5 here. Came in light double wood, 2-8.
Couple of nice breaks though thus far. I mean, he's got 4 in a row. He trips the 4 out for a 4-bagger. This could have been a 2-8-10 real easy. And he gets the nice break. You get in the 10 out. He just has the 2-8 to shoot at.
Come on.
Throw a hook ball into this so you cover the back pin.
It's been excellent so far. Multi-pin conversions, trying to increase that stat. Has a 32-pin lead. Takes care of the mark. A lot of people are watching back home in Camp Hill, Mechanicsburg, PA area. His home center there. Same house that used to host the PBA Harrisburg Open.
Come on.
Today, join ABC Sports final round action of the Nissan Open. Live coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 on the West Coast. Riviera, LA. Pretty tough track for those guys, huh? Some rain early in the week.
Mike Weir leading the tournament.
Lefty from Canada. 17 under is he. Jeff Maggart in the hunt as well at 11 under par. It's all coming up on ABC. Back to Traber. 10-pin.
And that could have put a lot of heat on Jim Tomek Jr., that hit right there. Ugly ring and 10. Saw a lot of that with Brad Angelo. He's telling it, come on, wheel, carry, carry.
Dave Traber told us last night his arm swing got looser. He became more relaxed as the week went on, and especially especially last night in the round of 8 when he realized he had made the show, but now he's got to go one more step. He's down 23 pins halfway through his match with Tomek Jr. Who makes the finals? We find out when we return. PBA Days Inn Open, Dallas, Texas. And he talked about pattern C being conducive to many different styles. He explains further in this week's Dexter approach.
Looking at Jim Tomek Jr. and Dave Traber, similar body styles, two completely different games. Look how wide open those hips are. Backswing to the top, and this is what he can do to the bowling ball. Lots of revs, lots of hook. Dave Traber, completely different game. Straight swing, left arm out, hips square, right foot closed. A much straighter down and in type of shot. Both equally as effective given the proper circumstances.
23-pin lead for Jim Tomek Jr. Here, the state capital of Pennsylvania, Harrisburg. Remember, he is the wild card. Ten-pin, not easy for the wild card to take the title, and especially for someone making his TV debut to go all the way down the line in this format. An extra match necessary. Coolest spare ball of the year, in my opinion. Takes care of the 10.
Wild card match, you see how deep he was, right around the 22nd board. Look what he's doing now. Same target at the arrows, but that ball not going near as far right. How does he get away with that? Simply by throwing it faster.
Up 22 pins. Works on a spare and a 4.
And right now, he's giving Dave Traber a little breathing room. Even though Dave trails by 21 pins, he's not putting the hammer to him. Dave, after a shaky start, came back with 3 in a row, ringing 10 in the 6th. It only trails by 21 with a spare conversion for Tomek here.
Four-pin, Jim Tomek Jr. Over 10,000 tried out, folks. 12 finalists remain, but only one will land a dream job as the next Sports Center anchor. Dream Job hosted by Stuart Scott, the series premiere at 10 o'clock Eastern tonight on ESPN. For more, log on ESPN.com. I know a few people who actually tried out for that and didn't get to the point they are now. It's not easy. 10,000 people.
Doug Kent's fiance, Chrissy Beamish, she auditioned for it. I wish they would have chosen Chrissy. That would have been cool.
Striking the 7th, down 21 is Dave Traber.
Traber knows what he needs to do, and that's just strike, strike, strike. Need to put heat on the first-timer, Jim Tomek Jr. Big shot right here.
Yes!
Down 11.
Come on now. Let's take them out. Come on.
With that strike right there, he just cut Jim Tomek's lead to 11.
Max numbers. Dave knows a couple more, and he's in pretty good shape. 8th frame. Critical stage. Tomek Jr. works on a spare. Willing it across the deck for the 10, but this is by a fraction. Chance for the spare now, 10-pin up.
The predicament that Jim Tomek is in is that every time he gets a little bit soft, it goes 4-pin. If he gets a little bit too firm, it goes that half pocket 10.
Takes care of the spare.
Jim Tomek Jr.'s first telecast in his entire career. See what Dave Traber's done. 18 and 17, 221 average, and who can forget that epic roll-off with Norm Duke last year in Long Island
for the title. That was incredible. What a moment for both bowlers. Max numbers, where are we headed? Possible tie. Speaking of roll-offs, Jim Tomek Jr. lane level. Look at it. Oh my goodness. 2-10 split.
And the adrenaline inside Dave Traber's body just skyrocketed when he saw what Jim Tomek just did. Again, this ball a little too firm, a little too far right. 2-8-10. Disastrous.
2-8-10, got the double wood to deal with, and leaves the 10. So with that, Jim Sr., his mom Helen back home in PA watching closely. Said it was last night his friends calling non-stop. Many of them in his home center in Mechanicsburg, tuning in via the PBA.com website. Suddenly a 4-pin lead. Open frame for Tomek Jr. Disastrous.
Big shot right here. 9th frame foundation. 14-pin lead.
Didn't like it off the release. God. One, 2-10.
Dave, partner, I'm sorry to say, you threw that one bad. Fast and missed it right. Had no chance. He needs to cover this, and he would maintain a 1-pin lead. Don't go anywhere. This is far from over. A spare here, 3 in the 10th. He can still win by 1. Got it!
Big shot.
Make good shots. Don't worry about that.
Covers, and the 10 goes down across the deck.
That's what it's about.
Is that ever huge?
You want to talk about the difference between professionals and amateurs? We saw Norm Duke make this when he needed to for a title win. Dave Traber makes it to keep his hopes alive to advance to the title. 3 strikes in the 10th frame right here. He wins by 1 pin.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
You like that one?
Like that. 2 more.
White off the release.
2 more.
This is the big one right here. Because even if he goes strike 9, as he takes a re-rack to either buy time or because he doesn't like the configuration of the pins. Bottom line is the next strike here and 9. Pretty tall order for Jim Tomek to throw 3 in the 10th to tie.
This is PBA pressure.
Baby home! Yes! Yes!
In Long Island last year against Norm Duke, Dave Traber needed all 3 in the 10th to force a tie and the roll-off. He got it.
He's going to take his second re-rack here.
Taking his second re-rack. I think this is a good play. Gain your composure, gather yourself. 10 right here. He shuts out Jim Tomek Jr. by 1 pin. Anything else, Jim Tomek Jr. still has a chance.
Keep in mind what's on the line for Traber here, folks. Exempt status. His career, 18 years on tour. Good rest on this shot.
That's it. Yes! 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 What it's about, right there. You gotta perform. That's what it's about.
And perform you did, Dave Traber. What a huge shot.
Yes.
And he is a winner off to the finals as he takes care of Jim Tomek Jr. Unbelievable moment.
Well, this one is certainly the hard one, almost leaving the solid 9. We've said it for many, many years out here. One, you needed a hit. Straighter was greater. When the adrenaline goes up, you tend to get fast, and fast is okay when you're going straight and hard at the pocket.
So the chance for a first-time winner is over. We talked about that at the top of the broadcast. 2-pin there for Tomek Jr. And what an experience for
Thank you very much.
Young Jim Tomek Jr., 28 years old. Something to remember as he gets a TV win today.
And let me just say how impressed I am by the performance from Jimmy today. He's a great kid, nice guy, and he really performed well today.
He'll come up a bit shy, however. Dave Traber tries to win his 5th title. And he is going to take on his regional nemesis in Steve Jaros. We'll talk much more about that when we return. They've had some epic battles head-to-head on the regional circuit. And now it happens here on the big tour. Exciting PBA action. We saw it here in Dallas. Dave Traber needed 3. He got them all. Rising to the occasion. Now he's off to the finals to face Jaros. PBA Tour and the Days Inn Open. And a special thank you to the fine folks from Days Inn. Christopher Trick, the Vice President of Brand Marketing. Chris Zola, Senior Manager, Brand Marketing from Days Inn. Now Days Inn Open, ready, has been exciting. Your road roommate, Dave Traber, who has gone so long, since '98, folks. More than 110 shows without a victory, is on the verge, but he's got to take on his old nemesis in Steve Jaros.
3 huge strikes in the 10th frame to get to the title match. And I asked Dave last night, out of all 4 guys, the 4 guys on the show, which is the guy that you'd least want to face in the title match? His answer, Steve Jaros.
Steve Jaros. Leading us to the Geico Direct Championship recap for this week. Ready? How did we get to this point?
In the wild card match, it was Tomek Jr. defeating Brad Angelo by the score of 224 to 190. And in semifinal number 1, Steve Jaros defeated Mike Machuga by the score of 226 to 216. And as we just saw, Dave Traber defeated Tomek Jr. by the score of 222 to 211. Dave throws all 3 in the 10th to win the match, setting up a great championship match for the Days Open title.
That is our Geico Direct Championship recap. 111 events since he won. Can he do it again? We find out when we return. Last week at the Oteers Open in Tucson, Arizona, Walter A. Williams Jr. looked to move one step closer to catching Earl Anthony for the all-time PBA title record, but Robert Smith had other ideas. Maximum Bob needed 2 strikes in the 10th frame of the championship match to wrap it up and rose to the occasion, win the 2nd title of this season and 6th of his PBA career. Robert Smith, the winner last week in Tucson, Arizona. The finals, Dave Traber, Steve Jaros are here. Steve, you're exempt already via your victory in Toledo earlier this season. Is there less pressure on you now in this final, knowing you're clinched on the tour next year?
Well, you know, there's been less pressure on me ever since I won that title, just because I had been bowling so bad going into that week, and it's really loosened up my arm swing and really got things going. You know, ironically, we were on the same pattern in Toledo. Here I am standing again with another chance to do it. I've bowled Dave many times in the Midwest region. I'm just going to pretend we're bowling a regional.
Good luck to you. He's had your number of the regional level, certainly Dave Traber, but now for the PBA title. The pressure for you, dealing with it, exempt status for next year. Your career's on the line. How do you handle it?
Well, obviously you can see I'm sweating a lot, but I'm just going to go out there and attack just like I did. It's going to come down to performing again just like I did the last game, and bowling Steve, it's going to be tough, but I want to get him back.
Good luck to you, Dave.
Thanks.
Randy, it's all we'd hope for. A dream matchup. Lots of pressure and drama here on the PBA Tour.
Lots of money, $40,000 to the champion. The runner-up guaranteed 20, and lots of points. Steve Jaros already in, as Dave mentioned. Dave Traber desperately needing points or a win to secure a spot on next year's all-exempt roster.
Yeah!
Well, you saw the big finish on the left lane. Dave Traber has found a home. Unfortunately for Dave, because he started the match, he will finish the match on the right lane.
Smooth swing of Steve Jaros. A great start for each. Strikes to begin things.
And our Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup, check it out. Big time average advantage for Steve Jaros. 7 pins a game higher. He made a ball change, trying to go nice and straight and direct, like Dave Traber. Oh. And it was funny last night, because when we talked to Dave, you remember Dave telling us the reason why he doesn't want to bowl Steve Jaros? Because he said he's lucky.
30 regional titles, folks. That's what Steve Jaros has, and many of those have been against Dave Traber, the two estimated in between 8 and 10 of the titles on the regional level. Jaros has won, have been in the finals against none other than Dave Traber. And Steve's wife, June, watches closely. We've got fans here for each bowler.
See Dave pat the thumb hole with a rosin bag for a secure feel. You have to wipe that residue off the bowling ball before it hits the lane. 30 regional titles for Steve, 15 for Dave Traber.
Good shot there. And as you can imagine, Steve Jaros was able to remember the exact first regional title he won, first ever regional title of his 30 against Dave Traber in the finals, Sun Valley, Wisconsin. And each were laughing about that with us in meetings. However, on the big stage now, there's so much more on the line between these old rivals. It may be friendly when you're talking about regionals. Not now. Career at stake. Oh! 9-pin.
There you go, Carter.
Referring to another Midwest regional player and a full-time touring player out here, Jeff Carter. Solid 9 for Dave. Looked like he pinched it in, just a pinch. Meaning he just grabbed the thumb hole just a little bit at release.
All right, come on.
First time in 23 events we've seen Dave Traber on TV. Made it from Medford last year, tied for third, lost to the eventual champion there, Brian Goebel. 212-209. It was January of 03, so it's a year plus since Traber's made the show. Seen Jaros 4 times on TV because of shots like that. Over 10,000 tried out, folks. 12 finalists remain. That's it. Only one will land the dream job as the next SportsCenter anchor. Dream Job hosted by Stuart Scott. Series premiere tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern, here on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Can't wait to find out who takes it. On the lanes here in Dallas, we're down to our final 2.
Oh!
7-pin.
Well, thus far after 4 frames, Steve Jaros has been anything but lucky. Great look from our producer, or excuse me, our director, Scotty Katz. Lane level, solid 7. The producer would be Mike Roth.
Today's
Look
perfect. Does get the 7. He knows it was close, but close is good enough in this case. Traber with a good start. 9-pin lead on Steve Jaros, bidding for a title. Someone wins his 5th career title today, folks. Either Traber or Jaros, each with 4 coming in. Right now, Dave Traber has the driver's seat position, but not by much. The max score of the 19 rock and roll.
With his career on the line, Dave Traber rolls this head pin into the 10, making it a difficult 1-2-10 to advance to the title match.
Excellent day for each thus far. But as we know, Randy, pressure cooker temperature starts to really crank up. We'll see. He rises to the top.
Come on now.
10 more down for Traber.
Something get done right now. Let's make good shots.
Right now, what Dave Traber needs to do is not think about his career, not think about winning, not think about the All-Exempt Tour trying to make it. He needs to focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's that feel of that perfect shot coming off of his hand from the 5th frame to the 10th frame.
Cell phone is ringing somewhere in the arena here. Which gives us a chance to talk about next week. We are headed to the greater St. Louis area. Just across the Illinois border, in fact, the Baby Ruth Real Deal Classic. It all comes your way 12:30 Eastern here on ESPN, your home for PBA live bowling excitement. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Outside looking in, saw Hugh Miller the other day. Just outside the center here, 7 career titles. He's still not quite there, as is Double D.
Yeah! Yes!
Ardell Ballard Jr. is still trying to make a run.
Come on. Come on.
Stay focused, deep breathing, and just try to stay relaxed. This game is far from over, especially when you're bowling the likes of Steve Jaros.
He is so steady. And Steve, as we've seen on TV this year, Randy, is taking advantage of other people's mistakes, sometimes on the bench.
Well, good point. Absolutely correct. That's how he won his title in Toledo when Chris Johnson failed to convert the 2-4-10. As you can see, nice and smooth, taking a page out of Dave Traber's book and going pretty straight and pretty direct. Right now looking for his first strike in the championship match on the left lane.
Bidding for his 4th overall of the match. Gets it.
And almost leaves a solid 8.
Oh, he can that time.
Strike here with a turkey ball, 6th frame. He'll have a 19-pin lead. Dave Traber. This is going to be an exciting finish, folks. Buckle up. There's so much on the line for Dave. 10-pin.
Good shot. 6 goes up and around the 10 real fast. That's what happens when you're going that straight and that hard. Watch the 6-pin. Left side of your screen. He knows it's going to be close. All right. Convert the spare. Strikeout 258.
Come on, just good shot.
Take a look at where Steve Jaros is playing. 12 out to about 9, pretty straight. Traves right around the 9th board. Only it stays on the 9th board before it starts to turn over down the lane. He's going much straighter. On the lane he likes, unfortunately, has to finish on the right lane.
Hold there, baby!
Whoa.
4-7 didn't hold the way it hoped.
Almost let the 4-7-9, which would have been real ugly. This ball's a little bit left. And now it's just a matter of who's going to carry the most strikes, because both players are hitting the pocket.
This is the first time on Pattern C, Dave Traber takes care of the 4-7 it's ever made a PBA TV show. And a good showing for him, and a great showing as well for Joe and Adam. We thank them. President Schumacher and Company, general manager of Don Carter's All-Star Lanes West here in Dallas.
Joe Schumacher and I have been friends for about 18 years. A native who lives down in South Florida.
Perfect shot, shreds the rack. And a 4-pin lead.
You think June has seen this battle before between Jaros and Traber? Watch this shot, absolutely perfect. And all of a sudden, here comes Jaros.
It's a motion from June. Normally we don't see that from her. She's pretty quiet usually. During the matches we've seen her on TV with her husband competing, but things are tight. Turkey ball tries, 7th frame.
Your leader in this match, Steve Jaros. This shot is perfect. He could have easily had the front 8 with a little bit of carry in the 2nd and 4th frame. And right now, in my opinion, Dave Traber has to strike out to have any chance of winning.
That was an 8th frame strike, 14-pin lead. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, we're coming to you from Dallas, Texas, with our entire ESPN PBA crew. 9-pin there for Dave Traber.
Just my luck.
Well, it's too early to start thinking that way, Dave. Make your spare, strike out. You'll be in the 230s. Steve Jaros only in the 220s.
World Series of Poker is coming up, folks, here on ESPN from Vegas, as soon as we wrap up our live PBA coverage. 9-pin down.
Had to say Carter.
We have had 4 straight repeat winners on tour. Traber, as we mentioned, has not won in a long time, since '98. Steve Jaros, chance for his 2nd tour title of this season.
I mean, Dave can really set the stage here with a strike in the 9th frame. If Steve Jaros does not get up and perform in the 9th and 10th, Dave could steal it from him in the 10th frame.
Some late help.
Now, see what happens.
Perhaps another 2-time winner on tour for Steve Jaros. Robert Smith back on that list now, as he's made the watch for Player of the Year race. Walter Ray Williams Jr. has a major, as does PDW. Right now, Steve Jaros looks for the 5-bagger foundation frame. Wow. Straight.
If you're not impressed with that, then nothing will impress you. This guy just gets up and labeled the last 5 shots. Right now, all he needs to do is perform in the 10th frame. He needs good count. He needs to stay above 5. In other words, 6 spare strike, he'll shoot 236. Best Dave Traber can shoot 235. But stranger things have happened on the PBA Tour in the 10th frame.
6-bagger. You better believe it. And that's a winner. Steve Jaros gets congratulations from his wife, June. His 5th career PBA title comes today in Dallas.
Impressive. Absolutely impressive. Steve Jaros just got up and labeled it when he had to.
That is clutch bowling, folks, when he needed it most. An absolute heartbreak for Dave Traber, who came so close.
Left his best for last. Dead labeled it. Watch his eyes. He knew he just won. And look at June's reaction.
She knew he pured it.
Thank you.
All 10 down in the pit, 60 feet to success. Couldn't have come at a better time.
QLinkXZone.com, baby.
Oh.
Second tour title of the season, Toledo, Ohio, and now here in Dallas. And it's trophy time for Steve Jaros, who has wrapped it up. He's clinched it. When we return, we'll hear from the winner, Steve Jaros, who's got a second tour title of the season. 6th player to win 2 times on the PBA Tour this year. ESPN's exclusive live coverage of the PBA Days Inn Open is brought to you by Uniroyal, the official tire of the PBA Tour. Uniroyal tire is trusted by American families since 1892. By new Odor Eaters Plus, the only art-supporting insole that protects against odor and wetness. And by Geico, a 15-minute phone call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. We know one thing is certain, the 15-hour drive in the SUV for June and Steve Jaros will be a lot easier with a DVD player in the back and the kids enjoying it after the win today. How'd you overcome the pressure of taking care of Dave Traber as you once again take care of your nemesis? You've done so well regionals, but now a PBA event.
Well, I tell you what, I knew it was going to be a really tough match against Dave. He's always a tough competitor, and he's going to be in the pocket every shot. I knew I was going to have to strike a lot. And, you know, early in the match when I couldn't quite get it going, and you know, Dave got a couple strikes early, and I was down, and I knew I was going to have to get it together. You know, unfortunately for Dave, he made some great shots, left a couple solid 9s, which is, you know, a pretty unusual hit out here. But he bowled a fantastic match. It just worked out that I came out on top.
Well, congratulations to you and the family, everyone else. Enjoy that drive back to Chicago. Steve Jaros gets his 5th career title in Chicago. That's where he's headed. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on ESPN.com. So long, everyone from Dallas.